Good evening, good morning, good afternoon, wherever you may be in the world. It's one or the other, but whatever you're doing, I am pretty sure that you are trying your best to become a millionaire by morning. That's why you're listening to this show. We brought in a special guest today that's going to help you to get to that goal, that task, that milestone. We brought in today a sales leader, someone that's been doing it for over 20, almost 30 years. Dominik, he's a sales leader, entrepreneur, investor, and a digital shaper. He's an author and board member. Previously, he was a co-founder of Procedural, which was acquired by Esri. He has a multicultural and multilingual business background. He spent most of his career in Central Europe and the United States. We're going to speak with him today. He's going to give us a little insight. He's going to give us a little game. He's going to give us some sales tips and tricks. So stay tuned and buckle in. Dominik, welcome to the Millionaire By Show podcast. Millionaire
Thank,
By Morning. I'm sorry.
Thank you so much, Rashad. And it's very exciting to be with you and discuss really how people can scale 30%, double, triple, quadruple. And I've worked with startups back in Switzerland. I've done my own startups. I work with small businesses. I'm now also part for a global player. So really excited to discuss with you, with your experience and seeing what worked for me. So thanks for having me.
So awesome, man. Thank you for being here today. Like I said, you're the first person in this capacity to be here where we're just strictly talking about sales and your background, where you come from, and how our listeners can kind of, engage with that. So I want to thank you for being on the show today.
Uh,
I would first like to ask you, like, Dominik, where did it start? Where did you knowing that sales, you being a salesperson, how did that begin?
Yeah, that's a great question. And I always just was really active. So I wanted to help solve problems, but then I also wanted to get something for it, right? That's what we're all in here. If it's free, then people are just taking and they're not no adding any value to it. So I was raised and born in Switzerland, in beautiful Switzerland, with cows and Swiss banks and mountains and cheese and chocolate and watches and all these good things. And I have a background in economics, but then I really started to work early on when it was not that cool to work with startups. So back in the days, you might remember that, Rashad, when everybody wanted to be with McKinsey or Accenture or the big consulting companies. I was always drawn to startups. And then we actually, back in Switzerland, we won a $16 million contract with the Swiss government to educate people from university so that they're not going to McKinsey, but they're building their own startup. And we did that. I did that for 7 years and run from university to university and just was telling people, hey, you have to do a startup. And why don't you do a startup? So everything is basically selling. And then I found that I really like to connect with people and I really like to solve some problems. And then I also like to see how they grow, see their potential, helping them achieving that. And by doing that, I saw so many industries and I saw a pattern that worked for every industry, every startup, small, big, or whatever. And then that's really what triggered me to go into sales. Having my own startup was a high-tech startups. We made it cash flow positive within 3 years, sold it then to one of the the biggest private software companies in the world. That's Esri, where I'm also currently am a sales leader for a global sales team. And that's just since then it really triggered everything that I'm passionate for. And I'm now passionate to work with organization to really creating a sales machines so that they really can double, triple, quadruple their sales. Because the secret here, Rashad, is really people are so close because most likely they're doing already the right thing, but they're doing it not in a way that it's really producing the results that they really want. And just to have a little analogy here, it's like we all can play basketball, or we all can play tennis, or we all can play football, but can we really play it like Michael Jordan? Can we really play like Roger Federer? So we are doing the same thing, but we're doing it not like the ones that are really succeeding. And that's the same with sales. So it's usually not about the what are you doing, it's about how you are doing it. Does that make sense?
Yes, yes, very much so. And with you saying that, and with you incorporating sports, I like to ask how much of practice goes into, how much dedication goes into becoming a top salesperson.
Yeah, that's really the $1 million question, right? And the thing is, like, let's start at the beginning. If we have a look how many companies actually are making $1 million in sales, what would you guess? Of all the companies in the US, how many are making over $1 million in annual revenue? What would you say?
Over $1 million in annual revenue?
Yes.
As opposed to the ones that's making $1 billion, I would say only 10% that's making $1 million.
Yeah, you're really good. You're super close. So only 4% of all the companies in the US are making over $1 million in annual revenue. That means 96 are not doing it. And if we have to look also how many do have a sales plan, then the number is quite similar. So 96 are not making $1 million, and 92% of all the companies in the US don't have a detailed sales plan. So that could be a coincidence, or there might be, most of the people don't treat sales as the one thing that really makes a difference. Because the dirty little secret is that the business killer number one is low to no sales. So you can go at any statistic, and 2/3 of the reason why companies are going bankrupt is having not enough sales, having not enough customers. And that usually starts just with the standards, how they're having a sales plan. Do they have a sales system? Do they have a sales machine that is creating the results that they really want?
Okay, so with that being said, you mentioned earlier that you created a process. So do these companies, if they're wanting to get to that level, do they, depending on what they offer and they sell and they have whatever system they have in place, whether it's retail, service, do they need to create more offers? Do they need to upsell? What is it the process? What do you find is the issue, Dominic?
You're absolutely right. It's about the process. It's about a system. So what I see is most people are trying different things. They go on LinkedIn, do content. They go on Facebook, doing some ads. They're doing webinars. They're doing cold calls. They're doing, I mean, they're trying everything a little bit. But the secret to success is really to focus on your best buyers and do a few things 1,000 times. And that's the sales machine. It's like you create a process and you're following it no matter what, with pig-headed discipline. And for example, follow-ups. Most salespeople are doing 1 or 2 follow-ups, and they stop with the first no. And the best salespeople, they know that they have to follow up at least 5 to 8 times to get through it. And they know they have a process that they're saying, okay, what's happened if I get rejected one time? What do I do if the prospect is saying, oh, just send me information, or the prospect saying, not yet? They have the comeback already within their sales plan, and they're saying like, okay, not yet. When would be a good time for you then? When should we go ahead? So you basically then go after the objections, and you have always a comeback already in there. Does that make sense?
Yes, 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 yes. I come from sales. What you're saying, it makes perfect sense. And I'm gonna tell you how it makes perfect sense, because I know me, I know myself. And here lately, no matter what I try to buy, no matter what it is I am doing, whether it's a new car, whether it's something for my daughter that I'm looking to get, the best car seat for my grandkids or whatever, and I'm looking for a salesperson, and I never run into a salesperson. They don't follow up. They not knowledgeable about the product. I tried to buy a new car, and I'm like, wow. So I don't get any follow-up phone calls or anything. So I'm interested.
That's really so. So you mentioned two things that I would like to ask you some question. So number one is like, are you aware of a concept called the buyer's pyramid?
Yes. Yes.
So the buyer's pyramid tells you that at any time there are only 3 to 7% of people actually buying. So think about if you have your dream customer and 100 dream customers, but buying right now is just 3 to 7%. So if somebody's like you is in the market and actually wants to buy, that's like a perfect scenario for every sales guy, because they're like, oh my goodness, I found the yellow elephant that is actually buying right now. That's really a rare kind of species. So that's number one. And the second thing is then really, and you're absolutely right, people are not following up. And that was the difference between the what and the how. So maybe they're doing once or twice, they're following up, but they're doing not over 7 or 8 times. And nobody likes to be sold. So it's not about going out there and say like, would you like to buy? Would you like to buy? Would you like to buy? No, it's about to be a strategist. And
Yes.
asking you some questions to see what you really need, and then presenting you an offer at the end of the day. Because we all like to buy things. We see it on Amazon, right? We click and do an, but nobody likes to be sold. And this is this change in sales, that we went from a tactician to a strategist, and not to sell people, but to give them the information so that they are interested and then making their own decisions. So that's what the big change in sales over the last 15 years are. And we know that when somebody's contacting me about a sales, then I know that person already had 5 or 6 searches on my website, so that they like to inform themselves, so that when they contact sales, they're already very well informed. And for me, then it's more a process about finding out where they have some objections, then isolating the objections, and then presenting the solution.
Okay. That's perfect.
And it sounds a little bit complicated, but I actually have this free book that people can download for free. It's called Startup Secrets Blackbook, and the URL is startupsecretsblackbook.com. You can download the free ebook, and there is a 7-step process how to set up such a sales machine. Because at the end of the day, you want to have a system that does the job all the time, over time, always consistent, doing a few things 1,000 times. And that's how you make the progress. And that's how you can double, triple, quadruple sales.
Awesome. Awesome. Anybody that's out there listening to this, that book, download it. Go to my website. The link will be there. Startup Secrets Blackbook.com. Download that.
Yes, a free ebook, and people can download it there absolutely for free.
Question, Dominik. How imperative is it? You mentioned earlier, there's a lot of people out here. There's so much marketing. There's so much TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, email marketing, YouTube. How much of that is presented in a sense that says sales is sales, right? All of that is kind of inbound marketing. All of that is inbound, bringing people into it. But then there's a such thing as outbound marketing, which is, cold calling, kind of not chasing, but kind of informing, you being the person that is in charge and going after, the person that has shown interest. Mm-hmm. How much of your book or how much of your consulting would you say is more or less of inbound social media, outbound cold calling, shaking hands and kissing babies type of strategy?
That's such a great question. And let me first ask you a question, and I will answer it then. What would you guess is the attention span of a human being today?
Oh man. I would say less than a minute.
8.25 seconds. Now, the other question, how much is the attention span of a goldfish?
Probably the same.
9 seconds. So goldfishes have now a longer attention span than humans. And you see it, right? I mean, it's like people are always, I was just on a big European business travel, and people are always walking like this around, and the attention span is completely destroyed. Therefore, it's like the sales process, if we're talking about the sales process, is the biggest challenge for business owner is to get the attention of their dream customer. And then it's a 3-step process. First, you have the attention, you're creating trust, and then you're closing the deal. And closing the deal is the easiest thing, because if you have done 1 and 2 right, closing the deal is not learning some wording or sentences. It's having the attention, having the trust, and then closing the deal based on a problem. So that's basically this 3-step process. But the hardest thing is really to get the attention. And how I work with my customers is really focusing on the best buyers. So instead of having 1 million potential customers, we usually bring it down to 100 customers. And if you have 100 customers, you can actually, with your budget, let's say it's 10,000, it's 5,000, however it is, you can spend much more per potential customer than you just blow it in Facebook ads. Because the dirty secret, Rashad, about Facebook ads is that 80% of all the people or companies who make ads on Facebook are not making money with that. I was just discussing that with a entrepreneur back in Europe, and that person told me that they have to have a 3 to 5x ROAS, return on ad spend, so that it's actually working, because it's not only the ad costs, it's also you have to have an agency, you have to set that up, you have to fulfill it, you have to produce everything. So it's massively overrated, those Facebook ads, and just spraying basically everywhere. So therefore, how I work with people is really focusing on top 100 dream customers. And that's the fastest and least expensive way to double sales. So therefore, I'm so confident saying like, okay, double, triple, quadruple sale. Why? Because I've done it myself and I've seen it. And the only thing is you're focusing on your best buyers. You're going after them relentlessly. You're doing follow-ups. You're doing cold calls. You're inviting them for meetings. You're getting their attention. You're getting their trust. And then it's a matter of time until you close that deal.
Wow. That's the process we're speaking of.
Absolutely. And it works every single time in every industry for every size. It's just 80% of the success also, Rashad, is can I control the person in my mirror? So it's personal behavior. Can I control what I'm doing? Am I really following up 8 times? Am I really just focusing on the top 100? Do I have to set up that system? Do I have a sales plan? And I'm doing it like a professional and having my processes down. And usually, as human beings, we're not that good to really having this discipline ourselves. And therefore, there need this executive coach like me. Say like, hey, I have done it before. I know exactly what the process is. Doesn't mean it's simple, doesn't mean it's easy, but I've done it before. I know if we're doing this, this will produce these results. And usually it's also to give business owner a lot of confidence and say like, no, you're good. It's like 1 month, nothing, 2 months, nothing. We need 2 more months and then we will see the results. Because people in this age, they want to have immediate success and they're like, oh, I have done it now 3 times. Why are there no sales? It takes a while until the system is really rolling. And it usually takes about 4 to 6 months if you're doing your outbounds and focusing on your dream customers, so that it actually produces results. And these days we're just not really patient, and we're thinking like it has to be, or everything has to be immediate and need instant gratification because we're used to that from social media, but that's not how it's working.
Wow. So, man, this right here is you're saying it's simple, but it requires discipline.
Yes.
And it requires time.
Yes.
But if you can marry the two, you will have success.
Simple, right?
Yeah, the formula.
Huh?
If the formula is simple, it may be difficult to do, because I went and I'm gonna say this because I've seen success with it myself. I'm speaking to you about all of the avenues and everything, but I come from a time when there was traditional marketing, when you had flyers printed up, and you went outside and you could either give them to people, hand them to people, door handles, put them on door handles. But by doing that, I knew 100% my numbers. If I handed out this many flyers, I knew how many buyers I would get. So, believe it or not, I just went last week and got some flyers printed out because I have a new offer to give. So I said, you know what? I want to try this out because I know the exact numbers. It's basically what you just presented and explained is you're building your own algorithm. You don't have to trust on a Facebook algorithm. You're building your algorithm. And based on that procedure, you're going to get that research done. You're going to know who wants your offer. So the same thing Facebook is doing, where, like you say, you're probably spending a lot of money on it, not getting results because it's just a machine. They're a machine now, but you can build your own machine.
The goals of Facebook ads and your sales goals are not aligned. They are not interested to make you a lot of money and then you stop spending on Facebook. They want to have like more and more Facebook ads. So, and I know I started very early with Facebook ads with my startup. I had amazing, amazing KPIs at the beginning. And then I saw they make it more and more complex. They make it more and more broad, and you have less and less influence to actually add basically the right parameters, and they bring in terminology and they change it every 3 months so that you have to spend more. And I don't blame that's their business, but it's not aligned with what you want to do at the end of the day. And therefore it's really, and that's really a stat that everybody should think about it. It's like 80% of the people that or companies that are doing Facebook ads are not making money. So why are you guys doing it? Focus on the best buyers and go after them relentlessly. Even, and this is really funny, Rashad, because you mentioned the flyers, but the most successful tactics these days are actually real mails with a little gift in it, like a Rubik's Cube or a compass or a bar of chocolate, to especially for B2B people to request meetings. And usually, if I send an email, I don't have any attention from executives or decision maker. But if I send these days like a real mail with a little innovative gift and do that 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 times, then people feel almost like obligated to meet, because it's like this art of reciprocation that people really want to give something back. And that works just like a charm. And if you're setting it up for a half a year, you get almost 40 to 50% of the meetings that you really want. And compare that with Facebook ads, compare the cost with Facebook ads, and you will be blown away how it will work. And you have the money because you're focusing on the top 100 customers, not the top 1 million customers.
Yeah.
And if that numbers is lower, you have more dollars per customers, and you can go after them, and it will produce results that you have never seen before.
Right. That's definitely something that I will incorporate. The thing about it is, you have had a business, and so if you're an entrepreneur, you want to get into a business to exit a business, right?
Or keep it for life. And I have a lot of friends who have family businesses. They keep it for life and then give it to their children.
Right. If the same thing that you're saying, B2B, does the same thing go for investors?
So you mean if you want to raise money, if the same process also works for investors? Is that the question?
For fundraising.
100%, 100%. And fundraising, there's also a dirty secret behind it, because just a few, I think it's 0.1% of the startup actually get funded. So you have to do like 70 to 80 pitches to make, and then you get like 1 or 2 investors, and you hear no a lot, because investors are really focused on the unicorns, and unicorns are unicorns because they're so rare, and therefore it's just a little part that get funded. And one thing what I would recommend, especially startups these days, is, hey, figure first out your sales mechano, your sales machine. And once you have done that, you're in a much stronger position in front of investors and say like, hey, I can do it myself. It just takes a little bit more time, but I figured the sales side out. I need you as a mentoring and help me to really scale with your money. But if you need an investor and don't figure out the sales side, you're in a really weak position, because then it's like, hey, can I please have your money? And so like, oh, why? Is sales already working? Maybe not. But really do it both together. If you're raising money, figure also out the sales, because it puts you in a much stronger position. And then also adding the investor part. So in the worst case scenario that you're not getting funded, and that's the reality for most of the businesses, then at least you have the sales as well, because it takes a lot of time. I have done it so many times, and it takes so much time, so much attention, because you're reaching out, you're getting the attention, you're building trust, and then you're presenting. And most of the startups, again, will not get funded, even the big ones not.
Right. If you are going to present, you better have your stuff together.
Yes, definitely. And back in Switzerland, when I did this national startup initiative, we basically helped startups to get the pitch together. So the pitch is really the main thing, the 10 slides to really get the attention. And it took about a week of training to get just the 10 slides together, because if you want to bring it really, really in a short format, it takes a lot of time to really polish everything. And therefore, have you heard of the elevator pitch, Rashad?
Yeah. Yes.
So one thing that I'm doing with some startups or small businesses is the little man on the shoulder. And the little man on the shoulder helps to pitch you, because we all have our own kind of perspective. And when we pitch, it's usually we're pitching product features or what's about us. But it's always good if you're doing your pitch and say like, hey, I'm selling hoverboards. Let's say I'm selling hoverboards. Then think about you have a little man on your shoulder, and the little man says like, so what? And then you have to say, okay, it's not about hoverboards. It's about we produce the most beautiful and really realistic hoverboards that are more beautiful than everything that you have seen in your life. And then the second one to perfection, the pitch is you put in for instance. So the first one is so what? Second one is for instance, and we say like, for instance, if you're going to a Back to the Future party, reunion party, and you take your hoverboard with you, you will be the star of the party. So see what we have done. We've said like from we describe what we're doing to really go to the benefits, and how we've done it is really asking, so what? And then for instance, and this is a simple trick how you can really pitch everything to anybody, because you are now not focusing on what you are doing, you are focusing on what your dream customer really benefits from.
Okay, that's my first time. That's my first time hearing that. And I could see that, like, pitching anything. And with that, it's funny, man, because people, as I was growing up, people always talked about, if you was to meet a woman, what line would you say? So you're supposed to have a prepared line, right? When you meet a pretty woman, so you can say this line that would make them interested, right? So
get the attention. Again, it's about attention. It will not close the deal.
Right.
I don't think you can say a line and then you get but you get the attention, and then the sales process will start, and then it
begins.
Trust. But the line is good to get the attention. Again, it's getting attention, getting trust, closing the deal.
Yeah, there you go. And just to line all of this up, like it's what you just stated is that's a line. Like, you got the attention of an investor just by saying that and filling in the blanks.
And then, Rashad, what's even more important is the comebacks. So in sales, we are getting, and the closing basically ratio is about 30% all over the world. So it's like you are losing 70% of the deals, no matter what, which industry or whatever. It's always almost the same. The thing is like, do you have prepared for the 6 to 10 most common objection? And you know that after 1 or 2 months, if you're working on it, what are people, why are they buying, why they're not buying? And do you have prepared the sales plan that you know exactly if somebody says like, I have no time, I have no authority, I have no money. Just send me the information. You have then the line or the comeback to come back. And believe me, you have to come back a lot of time in meetings up to 7 or 8 times to really then close the deal. And that's the same in every sales process. People have objections and you have to have a comeback for that. And that's not a line. It's not say this line and then everything is good. It's really understanding what's going on and then presenting a better option or a better alternative. And I find hardly anybody in any business that has really prepared that and also educated and trained the salespeople on that. They're just saying like, hey, here are the 100 addresses and customers. Now go out, do your magic, and let's see what's going on. And then we have this a normal kind of situation where they're just very tactical and going after the 3 to 7% of the people that are buying right now, but they're leaving out the 93% that could be interested at some later stage. And therefore, you have to become a strategist and not a tactician. So tacticians are saying like, would you like to buy? 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 And the strategist tells you, hey, here are the 5 most dangerous trends in your industry. Would you like to understand them? I have a short presentation. I will present it to you. I will give you a good education. And then you have the attention, plus you can establish trust. I just recently talked with somebody who is selling solar cells. So think about people are really going from door to door and say like, hey, do you have solar or what's your electricity bill? And that's such a tactical way to sell stuff. What they should do instead is really preparing some information about the 5 most dangerous trends in the electricity market or for home owners, and then say like, hey, I'm doing solars, but I prepared here a leaflet for you to get informed about solar cells. And by the way, here are the 5 most dangerous trends for homeowners right now. I leave it here. I come back in 2 weeks. If you have questions, we can discuss it then. Because then you're informing people and you're not selling them. And then you're going after the 93% and not only about the 7% that are buying right now. So we have to change that from a tactical approach to a strategic approach, which means we educate people instead of selling, because nobody likes to be sold, but everybody likes to buy and likes to get more informed and get educated.
Awesome. That's so true. Educate.
And have you seen it's not the what, you're still going from door to door, it's just the how. That was at the beginning where we say like, okay, you're doing the same things, but you're just changing the mindset from a tactician to a strategist. And that makes the whole difference. Why people are super successful and making over $1 million in revenue versus people who are always about 2, 3, 400,000 and making 5 to 10% revenue growth every year.
I like this. Sales and a strategy to sales. You have so many people, and like I say, I come from it, almost the boiler room type, where you're just giving leads and it's tactical and it's just call. There's a difference with educating and someone knowing what they want, and you are educated enough to know how to educate them on what it is that they want.
Yeah. And it's magical. And again, I would recommend that people are either downloading that for free on Startup Secrets Blackbook.com or on Amazon. They can get like a copy, but then it's not free. It's about $20, something like this, and then they get the physical copy. And it's really a workflow, 7 tools to really walk you through have this holistic way to go through the sales process and then setting up your own sales machine. And then usually I recommend to work with people, because we know it is like if you want to get fit, what are you doing? Oh, you take a personal trainer, and that trainer can push you 2-3% more and also puts the discipline in. And it's also with sports team, you see it. Why do they have a coach? I mean, the coach is not doing anything, but the coach sees things and knows things based on the experience that can push the team 2, 3, 4, 5% more. Why does Roger Federer have a personal coach? Why did Michael Jordan have coaches? I mean, they're the best of the best, but they know they need to reflect what they're doing, so to get like the last 2, 3% up there. And especially in sales with small business owners or startups, they're very tactical. So they're doing the right what, but they're doing the wrong how. So instead of doing the strategic way of selling, they're doing the tactical way. And that's exactly how it's not working. And you're just going then after the 3 to 7% of the people that are already in the market, but you're missing out on the 93%.
Yeah. That's the difference between eating a steak for the weekend and, filling up the whole family cabinetry for the month. There's a difference.
There you go.
Let me ask you this. Coaching program. I think you mentioned that earlier. Can you get into that? Are you taking people one-on-one, group coaching, or doing any of that for salespeople?
I do. I was very lucky in my career. So I founded a startup. I sold it. I'm now a sales leader in a big, wonderful company called Esri with the global sales team. So, but I do not any social media and I'm not watching TV. So that gives me every day between 2 and 3 hours. And then the weekends I get up very early. So every day I get up at 4:30. So that gives me some time to do some coaching. But for me, it's not a monetary thing. So for me, it's not money. I was very fortunate and blessed in my life. For me, it's really working with people that I like, which have the same mindset, or which want to grow, or which want to come from Europe to the US. So I do very selected executive coaching with startup business owner of small and medium-sized business and even some global players. I had the pleasure to work with 2 billionaires with the B, and it's fascinating to see how they are working and what they are doing. But if people are interested, connect with me on LinkedIn, and then we'll figure out whether we are a fit or not. But at this time in my career, it's more about taking my dream customers, and I know I'm very fortunate and privileged to do that. I completely understand that, but that's now where I'm in my career.
That's awesome, man. That's awesome. That's a way of just giving back, especially if you've been blessed and you're just like, I know what I'm doing, but I could show others as well. Don't have to, but I will.
That makes meaning, that makes sense for me, and that's exactly what I'm doing now. Yes.
Awesome. LinkedIn. Are you on any other social media channels?
I'm not. I'm not doing any other social media. I was early in there. I know a lot of people who are in executive position and some founders of some big social media networks, and I know what's behind it. And I would never do it except LinkedIn. So I'm on LinkedIn, but it's becoming more and more also social media. So therefore, I have to think about that as well. Yeah. But no, I'm not on social media, but connect with me on LinkedIn. And that's usually the best way.
Awesome. I am for sure going to connect with you on LinkedIn. Man, yes. So I hope anyone that's listening to this will at least check out the download. I know that if you're on here and you're watching this on YouTube and you're one of our followers and part of our community, this has really given you some insight. Some of the times we know a lot of what we know, but then it's just someone who could just give you a little bit more.
And Rashad, you know what the best thing is about downloading the book? The free book. It's you can see how I do my follow-ups. So you can actually see, Is he actually doing what he's preaching? How many times is he following up? Is he trying to sell something, or is he giving me a good education and good information? So if you download the ebook, you're not only getting a free ebook, but you also can learn and see and benchmark how you could do the follow-ups for your own kind of company and see what others are doing.
Yeah. And I want to say, I've seen it work. Sales is the oldest profession in the world. There's another one that they say that is the oldest. However, it still involves sales. So
and Rashad, think how good it would feel if you just figured out sales, if you always double sales every year, how much confidence you would get about your product, about yourself, how much more you would be loved, how much more your wife would say, oh my goodness, Rashad figured it completely out, and all your friends think like, what is Rashad doing that I don't understand? So just think how good it would feel if you really figured out sales, and that's exactly what you can do with the book. You're creating your own sales machine, and then you're really on that way to double, triple, quadruple sales.
wow. Wow. I want to add to that. I want to add to that before we go.
Uh-huh.
The name of my show is Millionaire by Morning, right? So if you think about a 6'5", 200-pound shooting guard, not shooting guard, but well, I guess he can be a shooting guard in today's time, but power forward who is 18 years old and is really good at shooting a basketball. He's making that, he gets drafted to the NBA for $240 million, right?
Okay.
So let's just say that's his contract for the next 8 years. I had a hard time dealing with that. So I was really thinking, okay, that really is like an early millionaire. Started early, had talent, and became a millionaire. However, the people that are able to pay him this $240 million is people that are in sales. They're trying to sell something. They're trying to pack the game out. They want to sell apple juice. They want to sell sodas. They want to sell chips. They want to sell something, right? Any doctor, as much as doctors get paid, they want to sell you some anesthesia. They want to sell you. Sales is where it's at. Sales is the at the end of the day, the reason they pay people the money that they do is because they want to sell. Movies, they're selling something. Concerts, they're selling something. So
Rashad,
I just want people to
we
know
are
that
all in sales, and some people just don't know it yet. It's
yeah.
like whether you're talking with your children, whether you're talking with your wife, whether you're going in a restaurant and want to have that table over there, whether you are having a wonderful product and you're looking for customers. We are all in sales, and some people just don't know it yet. So becoming good at it and understand it, and then getting really that confidence. And once it's really fun. If you're I mean, the thing why it has such a bad reputation is just because it's hard, and we have some people never figure it out. Once you really figure it out and have a process, it's really fun. It really makes sense, and it feels so good, and you get confidence, you're more loved, and then strong sales can change really everything.
It can change your life. It can change your life.
Yeah.
I'm going to leave it right there, Dominik. But one thing I want to do with you, I'm going to add you LinkedIn, and I want to have a offline conversation with you because, just because I'm trying to build. However, I still want to circle around with you because we only touched so much today.
Okay. Good. Yeah. Thank you so much for having me. It was exciting. Like I said, I just came back from Europe. I'm a little bit jet lagged right now, but it was so much fun to talk with you. So I think I'm now over the jet lag. So thank you
Yeah.
very much for that.
Okay. Awesome. A little shot of caffeine, a little shot of adrenaline. All right, man. Well, get you some rest. We're gonna take this, bottle it up, everything. Whoever's listening, make sure you download it. And thank you a lot for coming on today. You gave us a lot of gems and jewels as promised.
It was on my side. Thank you so much, Rashad.
All right, man. Have a great night.